All right, so for this video, we are going to rate Jennifer Lopez. Now, before I start, I just want to say that if you look at the very top where the cards are at, you should see another video. I suggest all of y'all to click on that video. It will go into depth for all of the faces that I have analyzed, and I believe it was 42 for men and then 43 for women. And I'm also gonna do some more updates on those as well. But I suggest y'all to click on the video that y'all see on top of your screen right now, and yeah, it will be beneficial if y'all do that. All right, so for her overall rating is a 6.75. How rare is that? That is 1 in 39 people. The percentage of people is the top 3%. Her side facial score was 46%. Her front facial score was 61%. Her total facial harmony score was 55%. Her facial dimorphism was a 4.5. Her body fat factors was a 9.5. And the miscellaneous features was an 8.5. We have the tier list to the right side. A tier 1 is ideal. Tier 2 is near ideal. Tier 3 is normal. Tier 4 is a slight flaw. Tier 5 is a flaw. Tier 6 is a huge flaw. And Tier 7 breaks harmony. Now for this video, I'm going to keep it very, very short and just go straight into it. And I'm not going to show y'all all the measurements. The video that I suggested will show y'all everything, and y'all will get more information on that as well once y'all look into that video. But for now, I'm going to show y'all the most important measurements that I think are very crucial for Jennifer Lopez facial analysis. So we have the rule of fifths. So if you divide the face by 5 spaces, each space should be pretty much similar to each other, which, as you can see right here, they are very similar. And how symmetrical her face really is, it almost seems you might want to think that it's almost AI generated or something like that. But let's start off with the nose. So your nose, from the alier base, or I should say the nostrils, because obviously her nostrils flare out, her nostrils should be aligned with the inner corner or the inner canthus of her eyes, which it does. So her nose harmonizes well with her eyes. Now let's see if her mouth harmonizes well with her eyes. So her mouth, from the creases of her mouth, right? So the ends of her mouth should actually be somewhat close or at the inside of her eyes, I guess you can say. And it is at the inside of her eyes, which is called the iris. And yeah, so her nose and mouth does harmonize with the eyes. And also her ears should harmonize with the eyes as well. And this could be another way to see if somebody has like flared out ears, I guess you can say. But obviously you don't want your ears to, you know, come way too far out of your skull or come too far past your skull. But yeah, her ears does harmonize with the spacing of her eyes as well. So she does have equal facial fifths for her face. Another measurement is a Z angle to assess whether her lips are true protrusive for her face. Now from this is not protrusive at all. It's actually kind of a little bit retrusive, but this is still within the normal range that you want to fall into. At 80 degrees, this pretty much means that it's actually pretty close to the ideal range, which is at 75 to 80 degrees, or 75 to 78 degrees. 80 degrees doesn't fall too far from that at all, but nevertheless, it's normal. So yeah. Eye separation ratio. So this is the way to assess whether your eyes are too far apart of your face. And I usually go by the pupils. So the pupil distance relative to the cheekbone distance, or just the overall width of your whole skull. And for her, hers is at 49.1%. So what this means is that her eyes are a little bit too far apart. Now, obviously, I can say that women can kind of get away with this a little bit, just ever so slight, because they do have a little bit more wider set eyes than men. But for her, you can't get away with this, so she does lose a bit of points for that. That's why she does have a tier 4 for this particular measurement. So she does lose a couple of points for this measurement. All right, so is her thirds equal? Now it's very, very close. So the only thing that is deviating outside of that is the 37% that y'all see on top. And she does have a forehead that is very distinct from all others. I should say that for the least. And 37% is not bad at all. It just only deviates 1% out of the ideal range. And 1% is not bad. So anything more than 3%, away from 33%, is going to be a tier 2, which she does have. So her forehead is a little bit too tall for her face, and that's all it means. But this is still not bad. This is really, really good. A lot of people can't even pass their facial third, so she does still have a very symmetrical face overall. The next one is the bitemporal widths. Now, I know I keep on getting to her forehead, but her forehead does have a lot of subject matter to it. Her bitemporal width, so pretty much is the how wide or how much forehead exposure you have. That's what I call it, forehead exposure, relative to the width of your cheekbones or your bizygomatic width. And hers is at 100%, so it's pretty much even with the actual width of her actual head. And that is a little bit too wide. And this is another measurement that I will make a bit of changes on, obviously, because a woman should not get away with having that wide of a forehead, in my honest opinion. I will make ever so slight changes on some of these measurements. Not for the most part, I would say like 95 to 93% of these measurements will be the same for women. And then for men, I won't really make any changes, maybe a slight deviation change for one measurement. But for overall, for women, I will make ever so slight changes, a little touch-ups. So yeah, keep that in mind. And I will also address that in my next video. Her eyebrow tilts. So her eyebrow tilt is 20 degrees. 20 degrees, believe it or not, is a little bit too upturned for a female. I know some of y'all might not like that because 19 is literally the end point for what is ideal for a female. Now, 20 degrees isn't bad. It's just, it gets to a point to where you don't want it to look too aggressive or too uncanny, so to where it doesn't really look real. It kind of sort of makes the celebrity look like a supervillain. Like, when I say like her face looks almost AI generated, I'm not joking when I say this. Now, 20 degrees, it still isn't bad. It's just a little bit too upturned. I think the last celebrity that I measured that has something of that sort of high tilt of an eyebrow is maybe Mike Tyson. But yeah, that is just too much. It gets overwhelming if your eyebrows are way too tilted. And yeah, so, but 20 degrees is still normal within range. But you don't want eyebrows that are way too tilted. It's not going to harmonize well with the face. The deviation from the ipsilateral alar angle to the jaw frontal angle is only 2 degrees. So it's pretty much the jaw angle and the ipsilateral alar angle, which is the mid-face angle, or the angle created from the mid-face. And once we get those two angles, what we do is, or what I do is, I subtract both of those angles, and voila, we get our deviation, which is only 2 degrees. So that means that they literally are similar, damn near parallel of an angle. So it actually makes the face more striking, and it makes the face just flow better. And you don't have too much of something that's disproportionate to each other. Both measurements correlate with each other. It makes the face look more symmetrical. And yeah, so it's a way to assess how symmetrical a person's face is and how well other measurements harmonize with each other, like these two measurements right here. So yeah, so J.Lo has a very good deviation between these angles. And like I said before, a lot of celebrities cannot even pass this measurement. So the fact that she's over here scoring well for these measurements is also amazing. But I'm sure she probably had plenty of surgeries to kind of fix these flaws anyway, but that's for another video. Eyebrow settingness. Now this is going to be the last measurement for this video. And like I said again, when in the beginning of the clip or the beginning of this video, make sure to click on that first link that y'all see on top of the screen. And that video is going to explain what I'm going to do next. And yeah, that will be the next video after this one. So make sure y'all click on that link, or make sure y'all click on that tab that y'all see on the very top of this video is going to be very interesting, and it will give you more insights on what I have going on. Now, this is a tier 2. Next time, I'm going to make this a tier 1. This should have been a tier 1. Now, 0.56 isn't really bad. Now, the thing is, this is one of the measurements that are a little bit tricky. Yes, women do have eyebrows that are a little bit more higher up than men, but how higher up is the question, right? So this isn't really bad. This right here, her eyebrows isn't too high up above her eye line. So technically this should be a tier 1, which I will, like I said again, we'll make some changes on, but preferably it should be a tier 1 because it's not too low to where it looks too masculine, which is kind of getting there, but it's not too high or anything like that to where it looks feminine at all. But it is more on that range. So I'm gonna have to kind of decide where that number will have to stop. But yeah, I will make a change for this. But nevertheless, her eyebrow settingness is pretty good. It's almost damn near perfect. You don't want eyebrows that are like too high up of your face, which females tend to have as well, and it just makes the face look more striking. All right, so if you want me to rate your face, hit me up on Instagram. I will have my link down below in the description, and between, I should say, 1 to 2 days, possible maybe 3. And another thing too is I have a lot of free time. So make sure to hit me up because I have a lot of free time. So if you're a male or female, you can get your rating very, very quick. It's not going to be too long. I don't have school or anything like that. So I have a lot of time to focus on this right now. So yeah. All right. I'm out.